Hello. Heather Jean here with Frances Mary in the house.
Hey everyone, hope everyone is good today. Thank you so much, Heather, for inviting me to come and talk about self-expression.
Well, so first of all, can I just say, like, because I posted a thing and said, like, if anybody wants to go live or if anybody wants to do a podcast, it is so safe, right? Like, I remember the first time we spoke, you were like, and now you're like, yeah, me, anytime. I love that. I love that.
Yeah, I've got used to it a bit more now, and I feel very comfortable with it now. Or at least I feel more comfortable than I used to. And I love it because it's such an important way of connecting with people, especially in the era of the pandemic that we're living through. I think we've all become a bit more used to actually like being on camera and being online, and that is a bit more normal now, isn't it?
It is so much more normal now, and it's so much. I'm sorry, I just said to you, and I don't like it when people go, "Are we live?" But my video's not showing up as live, so. Oh, there we go. It is. Okay, cool. Yeah, we have to get more used to it. Even if you have a full-time job and you're doing a presentation, or even if you're just talking on Zoom, it's just how it is now. And this is kind of, the whole thing about being in the community is that you can just come on and try it and practice. And if you freeze and you have nothing to say, I will never have nothing to say. I've always got something to say. So tell us a little bit about you for anybody who's new and hasn't met you yet.
Okay, so my name is Frances Mary, aka Mary Minor. I am a vocal artist and songwriter from Bristol, UK. And I guess my thing is writing about the gnarly stuff. Well, at least it is at the moment. I've got this project called Mary in the Mirror, and the songs that I've written for that project are kind of based on the dark side of life, the trauma, the difficulties, the upset and the woe.
It's such a good way of being able to lean into that and then let it go. Do you ever find that you sing some of your old stuff or stuff that you resonated with that you've moved on past, but you have to keep? Because I always wonder about this, with okay, I'm in no way comparing you to Taylor Swift, I promise. But because Taylor Swift always wrote about her heartbreaks and her upsets, right? And then it's like it must suck when she goes on tour that she has to sing stuff that she's way past. Does that ever happen to you or not?
Not so much, no, because I haven't really done that much performing in recent years. I've basically spent quite a few years like recovering from a health condition, and I think that the songs that the songs that I've written during the last sort of 6 years have kind of really born out of that time of difficulty in my life when things were not going according to the plan. And music was all I had, actually, as a form of expression. I was having difficulty with walking. It sort of manifested in back pain as well. And I was having like a lot of trouble kind of like getting out in my community like I used to. So that was, a difficult time, a traumatic time in my life. And then, my mum was diagnosed with Alzheimer's and passed away 2 years ago. So that was another layer of stuff to have to deal with. And so during that time, the music was kind of a bit more like therapy, really. Like I wasn't even thinking that I was going to get better and be able to start releasing this music. That wasn't like what I was thinking at the time. Like I was feeling like I had this disability. It felt like it was a permanent thing. And I was just getting used to living with it and getting used to like, how do I deal with these difficult emotions? And music is, in a way, it kind of saved me from the depression that was kind of coming with that. And so, I haven't really had to perform that much. So but I can imagine that, like, in years to come, there's probably going to be a point where I'm like, oh, I don't really want to sing that song anymore, because that's not where I'm at anymore. And it must be difficult for established artists to do that, I think. You know, I'd hate to be Kylie Minogue and have to sing "I Should Be So Lucky" every time. Sorry, Kylie.
No, don't be sorry. They have it coming. They have it coming. But I think sorry, I just love that you said that. Yeah, I think that's the thing is, you know, it is an expression, but I guess when you're at that kind of Kylie Minogue level, then you appreciate that your fans have a connection to it that means something to them. Because once you put that out there, I'm guessing, I'm not a musical artist, but once you put that out there, it's what it means to me. Right. So you continuing to sing it is going to bring back and ignite things in me around my own expression.
Yeah, so, absolutely. Yeah.
Your fans, when you're at Kylie Minogue level, will be expecting that they can connect with that again.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But I do feel like times have changed as well, and the way that artists engage with their audience is different now. And you know, we have this technology now where we can just basically be streamed directly into somebody's living room, or you know, be on their mobile phone, and we can be streaming something live, and we can actually be connecting to them in a different way. So it doesn't have to always be all about the music. It can be more about the connection and the relationship between you and your audience. And I think that's an important distinction now, with the way that the music industry's changed and the way that technology has evolved. And I think that it's going to be different in the future. So it may not be that it may be that, like, you know, I'm delivering new songs that are inspired by the people that support me. And that could be more of a personal thing, rather than having to necessarily go always into the old material. I could just be continually evolving new material that is personalized towards what the audience actually wants, because I have that level, hopefully, of communication with them and understanding of what they need.
I love that it is so much more personal. The only thing I can relate to, and I'm not a big fan of theirs, but for some reason, when lockdown happened, and I was just like a complete mess, because I had a terrible 2019. I'd just come out of a car accident and gone back to my work, and then COVID, like 6 weeks later. And I can't even remember what platform it was on, but Ricky Gervais decided that he would go live every day for his followers. And he did for a long time. And then he started saying, can we go like twice a week, or, you know, once a week? And he kind of was cutting back. But he was talking about his writing process, because he was just bored and he didn't have anything else to talk about. And he was talking about writing Afterlife, the third season. And that is now up on Netflix. And I felt differently about it, because it was so personal. He was talking about the stuff that he was writing about, and then there it was as a product, you know. And it was so entirely different to, as you say, like, you know, when we didn't have those connections, and it wasn't personalized, and you weren't able to kind of give the backstory of stuff. So it's beautiful. Okay, so you have a new single out, though, right? Was it last week, or was it the week before? I don't know. I'm
last week. Yeah, I've lost track. About 10 days ago. Yeah, we released our second single. Yeah, I mean, what can I say about it? It's a track called Wake Up. It seems a bit cliche, but it is kind of about a relationship breakup. But on a deeper level, it's actually more about mental health, actually. You know, so you kind of have this mundane thing of, you know, there's a relationship thing going on, but I think on a deeper level, it's actually about depression, and, you know, trying to navigate through your normal life when you have a mental health condition, and you kind of having actual suicidal thoughts. But the song itself is kind of a bit more upbeat and bouncy, so that I don't think that really comes across in the song as much. And it's one of the earlier ones that we wrote as well, so it was good to get it out. And then I think the next single is going to be something a little bit more recent. But we've got a video coming for the current single, which I'm super excited about. We filmed that last weekend, and it should be ready in the next day or two.
Oh, wow, I loved your last video. I just thought it was beautiful. Where can people find your music, Mary, Frances Mary? Because you're not Mary, you're Mary, yeah.
Well, I'm all of it. Because Frances Mary, I sort of see as my kind of, that's the creator, that's the writer, that's the thinker. That's kind of like the thought process behind the music. And then Mary in the Mirror is like the shadow self, the exploration of the dark and moody stuff that we go through. And it's kind of, for me, it's quite healthy to explore that, because it's like, if you've got anger issues, you might go and like do some boxing or something. Do you know what I mean? And it's kind of, for me, that is the equivalent of that I'm musically kind of getting that out. So that's the Mary in the Mirror. And then Mary Minor is there's another aspect to it all, which I'm going to be releasing some songs separately as Mary Minor, and they're going to be more fun and upbeat and a bit showgirly, so I get to explore that side of my character too. So but yeah, back to your question. Remind me of the question. Where can people find me? Yeah.
Why? Because I knew it was Mary Minor, Mary in the Mirror, and that's why I said, where can people find you, Mary? It's like, I'm used to people having multiple names, so it's just a context. So where can people find your music?
Yeah, so if you go to my Facebook, which is facebook.com/Mary Minor Music, Minor is spelled MINA, or you can just search for Mary in the Mirror. Then my Facebook page should come up, and the pinned link at the top of that page should take you to all of my music. There's my YouTube channel there. There's a link to find my music on your preferred streaming platform too. So it's all there. Or you can go to Miss Mary Minor on Instagram. I did it all wrong. Everything's supposed to be the same name.
I know, but I found one today that was like Mary. Was it Mary in the Mirror 1 or Frances Mary 1? I don't know. I was like, you are so many things on socials.
I know, multiple personalities.
Well, yeah, because we, when you have kind of a stage name or your artist name, you want to be able to promote it under that name, and that's quite different to your own private profile. So like, Heather Jean is very different to me than when I'm talking about cabaret stuff. Yeah, actual cabaret stuff instead of confidence through cabaret stuff. And I think, most people have kind of two sides at least, and you have multiple. I love that.
Yeah, no, I do. And I think, but basically it was almost like, because I'd released stuff under the name Frances Mary in the past, and people kind of know me for that name, and I wanted to create something really different and really new. I wanted to express myself in a new way. I wanted to, and because as I explained about the health stuff that I'd been through, I had such a problem with confidence. Because it was like, I'd gone from being this very social being who was going out a lot and mixing in with the community and, going out to nights out and stuff and really engaged with everything, to then becoming this person who couldn't go out. And then, so when I was able to go out again, I had to re-socialize. I had anxiety issues. And then I'd also had to cut down on drinking alcohol as well. And I started to realize that alcohol was had always been this mask for me. where, like, you know, it gave me the courage to go out and socialize. And just for health reasons, I had to cut down on my alcohol intake. And then I found that without that much alcohol, like, I was finding it a real struggle to go out and connect with people. And it's taken me quite a long time to build my confidence back up. And so having this new moniker has been super useful, in the sense of, like, I can put that on like a mask. So if I become Mary Minor or Mary in the Mirror, it kind of gives me this new level of confidence somehow. Don't ask me how it works, but it works.
No, but I can tell you that, you know, anybody watching this would be able to resonate with that in terms of their inner critic, right? So it's all part of us. It's not the fake it till you make it thing. It's our way of expressing. So, you know, when you have your inner critic going, you're not good enough and you need more certificates and nobody's going to listen, or they're going to laugh, or whatever, you know, all those things that people say to themselves, you know, one of the ways of learning to live with your imposter or your inner critic is to name that. And it's a really good technique. And so, you know, the same applies to our stage name, or our, you know, that persona and that energy that we're stepping into and what we relate it to. And, you know, anytime I ask somebody, you know, what would your stage name be? It's interesting because some people right away go, yes, I know what that is. And some people go, oh, I can't say that. That would sound big-headed, or that would sound ridiculous, or whatever, you know. And but if you can name that energy of, let's say, confidence or power or fierceness, or, you know, unapologetic, or whatever it is, then it's like an anchor that you're triggering to come out with that energy. And it is so important. And it's the same, it works in reverse with your inner critic, being able to name that, and then being able to say, okay, you know, whatever you've named it, thank you for the warning. Thank you for trying to protect me. I've got this. And then I can learn to live with that, because you're never going to get rid of that inner critic. A lot of people have the same with their anxiety as well. You know, they learn to live with it and befriend it. So it's almost that same kind of stepping into that energy in reverse. We're stepping away from that energy, and it does work.
Yeah.
It really makes a difference, because you're not being fake. Mary Minor and Mary in the Mirror, and for me, Helen and Heather, and, you know, they're all, and in my studio it's Henry. That's a whole thing. And, you know, they are all different facets that we get to express. And when you're talking about self-expression, it can be really hard to nail down, like, how do I express all that power and fear and energy and excitement and all the things all in one go? And that's a really great way of being able to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think for a lot of people, you know, in this community, and certainly in online businesses, you know, sales is a thing, you know, putting themselves out there and showing up is a thing, you know. And so again, if you can kind of put that hat on, they're just different hats, right? I wish I had hats now. But I know you and I talked about this, and we shared with the community about this before, where it's kind of like that. But how do you then promote? Like, I mean, it's brave enough that you're writing and you're producing and performing, but then you've got to really promote that, right? So that people, and you've done a very good job, because you've had a lot of views and a lot of engagement with your music. How did you get over that bit of, okay, so you know, buy my single, or check it out, or like and subscribe? Or how did you get to that stage of being able to do that?
Well, I had some coaching with a friend, Ella Vida. She was amazing. She kind of guided me through the initial sort of build up to my single release. And I did an intense digital marketing course as well, which was like 3 months of just learning everything to do with marketing. But even before that, I'd done quite a lot of study, just literally just like on YouTube, you know, and listening to podcasts, attending music conferences, that kind of thing. and just trying to understand like how to really connect with my audience. So, you know, I've read lots of books, and as it's nice to hear you say that I'm doing a good job of it, because right now I feel like I could be doing better. And I go on.
No. You don't get to go celebrate. I did all this stuff. Oh, but I could be doing better. No, we're just gonna. You are doing great.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I guess like I've just got that personality where I'm always pushing for more. So, you know, I kind of feel like I've got off to a good start, but I also feel like there's things that I need to put into place now that I know that I need to do. And, you know, I've just been putting off because it's big and scary. But what I'm going to do, and I just haven't committed to the start date, is I'm going to be doing like a live every week on a Monday, where I'm going to be kind of setting up a framework for the week of like how to get my stuff done. And hopefully that will engage with people who also have got stuff that they want to get done. And that'll be like at the same time every week, so that everyone will know where to find me and that kind of thing. And I think that's going to be a great thing to do, because I've learned a lot of stuff, and I want to pass that on now. Like I want to sort of like share everything that I've learned with other people. So I think that'd just be useful for me, but it would also be really, really useful for my audience, and I'm particularly aiming at people who want to be artists, who want to be creators, who know that they've got that spark within them, but haven't quite figured out how to kind of like make it really happen in their life yet. So I'm kind of looking for people like that who want to come on this journey with me. So that's going to be on a Monday, probably at midday. Like I said, I need to like really commit to this and put a date in place to start. Then I'm going to be doing like a weekly live stream where I'm going to be taking songs that people want me to sing and singing those songs specifically for them, and telling the story behind why they want me to sing that song. So that's another thing that I'm going to be doing, and I'll probably do that every week on a Wednesday, I'm thinking, a Wednesday evening. And then I want to start doing like a fortnightly live stream, which isn't all going to be about me. It's going to be about trying to get other singers to get up and do some live jamming. Maybe I'll be getting involved with some of the jamming too, but it's really going to be about like kind of creating a group of people. So, and I think those are all ways that I can give back to my audience, give to the community, and it will also feed into like my music and what I'm doing. So it's kind of, hopefully it's going to create like a nice community and a nice shared experience. And then I'll continue to do my live streams for my own music, maybe like once a month or something, when I've, you know, whenever I've got something to promote. But I think that the important thing is if I get those 3 or 4 things in place and commit to doing them and actually show up and do them every week, that I think that from there things will grow exponentially. Because right now I'm not making any money from this, and you know, I want to do this full time forever. You know, I really want to have this as my full-time career for the rest of my life. So it's being clever in, you know, the way that we communicate with our audience, and you know, really kind of showing up for them, making it about them, and being of service. Really, ultimately, it's about being of service to people, and that, I think that's what drives me most of all. It's you know, apart from the fact that like it's so important to me to kind of like use my art as a way of sharing what's in my soul for my own benefit, right? First of all, it was for me that I started doing this music stuff, but ultimately, like, it's a gift that I can share with people and connect to people with, you know, like hopefully like by me sort of telling my stories or you know, observing the world through my own perspective, that it'll reach people and it'll mean something to them and hopefully be transformative for them too. So yeah, so that's why I'm kind of like, oh, you know, I haven't done enough yet, because I know that I've got all these things that I'm planning and I haven't started them yet. But I'm going to.
You will. Because hold on. I'm just going to plug in these. Timing is everything. And I think a lot of times, you know, we have all these ideas and we want to do them, but we're not in the right place.
Mm-hmm.
My emergency headphones. Oh, that didn't stop the echo. I don't know what's going on. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, it's about being in the right time and place.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you going through your own things, you preparing your release, that's important for your timing. And to be doing these other things for everyone else,
Mm-hmm.
they're not getting the best of you if you're not in the right time and space.
Yeah, that's certainly true. And yeah, that's certainly true. And right now it is, you know, I'm just waiting for the right time to start all this stuff, because, you know, there's been a lot going on. Let's just say there's been a lot going on in my life over the past couple of months, well, the past couple of years even. And yeah, so you know, it is about sort of like preparing yourself mentally, preparing yourself physically to do the work that you need to do. And I certainly think there's some truth in what you're saying, like that it's got to be the right time so you can give the best of yourself. But you know, it's coming, and I think there's got to be a point when you commit to doing the work that it takes to get you to the place that you need to get to.
So a lot of it is about, you know, being really honest with yourself about why we're not doing following our ideas, or, you know, doing all the things that we want to do. And, you know, if when you get to the root cause within yourself, if it's because I just can't because whatever's going on, then fair enough. Then that's what you need to deal with. If the root cause is, I'm afraid, I want to hide, that's a really different thing. There's a whole different process that you need to go through. And sometimes it's like diving into water. You've just got to dive in. But if it's, I'm not able to right now, then for heaven's sake, don't jump off that cliff into the water.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I hear you for sure. I hear you. I think for me, and in all honesty, it's that, you know, when times are difficult, and, you know, like the work that I'm aiming towards doing is going to be like, I'm going to be on show, like people are going to be looking at me, and I better have something to say, you know, that's important and relevant and that people are going to want to listen to. And so, you know, in order to be in that place, I've got to be in a really good place mentally. And so if there's anything bothering me, or if there's anything going on in my life, like that's upsetting me or causing me grief, how do I show up and be my best self and put the sparkle on? Like, how do I transform from being this kind of like, oh, I can't get out of bed today, and I want to hide under the duvet, and I want the world to stop? How do I then like pull myself out of that and get myself to that place of like ready to be presented, ready to be presentable, ready to be seen? That's what I'm grappling with at the moment with all of that stuff. Is, you know, it's been a difficult couple of weeks, and yeah, And so there's been days where I'm like, I want to do a live. I really want to do a live. I really want to come and do a live. But I look in the mirror and I just look at my eyes and I just think, how can I show up like this? I don't know. So it's a tricky one. It's something that I'm working on, because I know that I need to solve this, because if it's going to be my work going forwards, then I need to solve that issue. Do you know what I mean? And it is a huge issue.
So I guess the questions to ask yourself is, and you could even, for some people, writing it down is helpful. Writing down that statement of, how can I show up and add value and give my best self, and then really start to pull that apart. So, for example, it sounds like there's some presuppositions there around that I need to show up without puffy eyes or look, presentable, whatever your terms of that are. I need to show up and always be adding value by giving something that others can use. And we underestimate the ways that we show up imperfectly that inspire others. We've been fed this whole media thing of perfection and, airbrushing and the whole thing. But showing up imperfectly can give people the chance to sort of go, yeah, me too. And that's inspiring. Like, I can't get out of bed today either. And I Ryan Francis, who I co-pioneered Confidence Through Cabaret with, we still to this day check in with each other and say, how did you sleep? Well done for getting up. Now, there's not very many days, but there are still some when one of us can't get up, but we still celebrate those things of, well done for getting up, like getting up, getting dressed, and getting into the day. And it's just those simple things. And I think we have to question, why do we think that others need us to show up perfectly and flawlessly and, give all of this fountain of knowledge? Maybe it's just going, I really didn't want to get up today.
Yeah, I definitely hear you. And I definitely think that, like, my philosophy around self-expression is about being really open about the challenges that I face as an individual, because these things are kind of universal. Like, everybody goes through these things, like you say, of not being able to get up, of like having depressed days. And, these things are pretty universal. And I'm really happy to talk about them, I think it's really important to destigmatize mental health, particularly. But for me, it's still about the physical, like how do I appear physically? Like, I always feel like, oh, my nose is wonky, my teeth need whitening, like these things, and it's hard because, when you're doing these and you can see yourself on the screen and you're like, I'm imperfect. And like, I really notice the difference. Like, when I look in the mirror and I see myself after I've, had a bad morning, and I look in the mirror and I just think, do you know what I mean? I think there's still some level of self-rejection there.
And perhaps fear of judgment even, and we all have that to some degree of, what will people think? I know certainly my mom's, that was the generation of what will people think. Everything had to be in comparison to, how it looked in the outside world. And I think one of the beautiful things is that we have the opportunity to break free from that.
Yeah.
And just like we had to get used to going live, we have to get used to going live without the makeup and the perfection and, all of those things. And people are still there.
Yeah.
So it's that, and there is something there that, and I mean certainly, it's worth exploring where that root cause and that root belief comes from. And we have a confidence challenge group, so maybe that's something we can explore in there.
Sounds amazing. Yeah. And I've also just signed up for like a 6-week confidence course, like a women's thing. So I'm super excited about that. I think that's going to help, even if I don't start my shows until after that. But I feel like I feel like these are like, I need to just put the dates in the diary. I need to commit to them, because going forward, if I can get those things going. I mean, I used to do a radio show like for 6 years, and I'd show up every week, but it was great because you couldn't see me.
Yeah, so there is some sort of blockage there, and I know in all of the programs that I do, we go back into what is that block and release that block, because if we don't do that, then all we're doing is kind of getting by despite that block.
Yeah.
And so much of it is programming that we don't even know we have. So being able to release that, I just did a reset last night. I just did wrote pages. I wrote about this actually last week. I think I wrote a post about, resetting and writing all of the crap that you've been through. And I did that. I actually sat down and wrote pages and pages, and then I sealed it all, and then I burnt it.
Ah, amazing.
And and then I did a reset, and I wrote out all of the things that I do want, and I have that reference because I like to write. I mean, some people are vision boarders or whatever it is, but that reset, when these thoughts came back to me today, and it is still early days, I have to do resets fairly regularly, but when these thoughts came back to me today, I was like, yeah, no, I let that go. And it's almost that's out on the lawn. that's burnt now, because there were just insurmountable amounts of beliefs that were coming up, and I had done the work, and I'd found the sources, and I'd found alternative beliefs, and I just couldn't embrace them. And so I had to go really much deeper into it. And I think it's that work is hard. If I had my time again, I probably would have stayed out of this whole arena, because it's way easier to just not go there. But as an artist, you can't. You have to go there.
You have to. I mean, from my perspective as an artist, I feel that there's no choice, because not being able to do my music means that I'm miserable. What kind of life is that? It's not life. It's not living. I'd rather not live if I can't do my music. Like, people are like, oh, you don't want to choose that career because it's not going to give you enough money to live on. But actually, it's better to be broke than unhappy. And I feel like, it's important to keep going and believe that actually you can break through that, penniless artist kind of, what's the word? Cliche.
Yeah.
That we don't have to, these days, particularly, we don't have to buy into that cliche anymore. Like, we can create our lives the way that we want, and we can become successful. After all that stuff I was saying, oh, you can show up anywhere you want, and I'm now like, my friend, just not doing the right thing. Sorry.
I love this for you.
It's terrible being able to see yourself, because you're like, oh no, it's not working. Is it? Like, why is that bit of hair like that? Not like, oh, anyway, sorry.
We've all been there. Well, I'll tell you what does happen eventually is the more you do this, you stop looking at yourself. I just don't look at myself at all. And I've got some terrible lives where I'm like, my hair's like that. I didn't even notice because I'm not looking at myself.
Yeah.
And so we do get less self-conscious of that. But
Yeah.
I think it is so, so important, even for our own quality of life, even if we don't choose to express it to an audience, that we can have that form of self-expression for ourselves. and I don't have to be dancing on a stage to express. I can just use my living room. It's just that. It's that, feel the feelings and let that come out and express itself. And that's where you start to notice the patterns of your beliefs and the programming and that's when you start to be able to lean into the tools that help us move past that pain point or that fear or that whatever it is, and just really be able to get into acceptance, even if we want to make changes now. I've talked about
Yeah.
this ridiculous amounts about, body confidence, and, the number of people who've said, oh, I'm too old to go on stage. I went through years of that. And now I'm like, well, that was a waste of years. And I'm older now as well.
Well, you're never too old, actually. You're never too old to do what you love.
Exactly.
Everyone should do what they love at any age, I think, and age hasn't really got anything to do with it, especially not in performance. Like, it's not the age of somebody that entertains you. It's the performance that entertains you. Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't actually matter. But it's society that's made us feel like we have to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That we have to be young, that we have to be beautiful, that we have to be sexy, that we have to be, likable, lovable. We have to be all of these things,
Yeah.
And the media makes women feel like once we get to a certain age, we're past it, we're not attractive anymore, and we idealize youth. And it's wrong on so many levels. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I do. And Hazel's watching right now saying, never too old. It's like, yeah, absolutely never too old.
Hi, Hazel. Aww.
Yeah. But it is so, so true. I do want to say that we have to be lovable is, for me, a very important one, because we have to be lovable to ourselves. We have to be able to find that what love means. I'm deep into love right now, versus cathexis, which is a whole other topic. But self love and love being a verb, something where it's about care and it's about relationship and it's about communication and it's about, so many different aspects. All of those things are acts of love, and it is so important that we are expressing that. And everybody is lovable regardless. It's finding that and believing that for yourself that is so important. But the exterior, the body, the casing, the hair, all of that means nothing.
Yeah. And it's like, we can change ourselves in any way we want as well, if we really want to,
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we can.
You can add layers of stuff and transform into something completely different. So
I am so excited for your future. I can't wait. And when you are doing these things, then please let us know, and then we can, promote it and see if people, can connect with it. And I've got a catalog of songs I want you to do now.
Really?
I know. I want Both Sides Now, Joni Mitchell.
Oh, I don't know that song. Well, that's a challenge. That's not another one to learn.
Yeah, that's your I mean, just amazing. Yeah. Go and look that up. The reason I want that is because of this conversation. I mean, I love the song. I think it's a beautiful song. But my understanding of the song is it's all about, clouds and, palaces in the air kind of thing. And the song represents kind of, and it's Both Sides Now represents the kind of how I looked at it as a child versus my journey into adulthood, and how that is so different. And the kind of almost disillusionment And Hazel says she can hear you singing that, so can I. But it's almost, and we were talking about that right as we went online, and then in different ways talking about that in here, about how when we go from childhood where we saw everything as wonderful and the world was all about play, to all of this adulthood of heaviness and reality, and grown-ups know nothing and you thought they did, and all of that. And so that song is about that.
And why is it, I mean, obviously, like, you connected to that theme quite strongly, but was there any kind of like nostalgic moment with that song that's really particularly poignant?
Yeah, well, first of all, Joni Mitchell's Canadian, so always have to big up the Canadian.
Okay, enough said.
Just saying. Also, I think it's probably come back in my mind really recently because of what's going on with Spotify, and the whole kind of debate about who Spotify are entering into $100 million contracts with that are controversial. And so Neil Young and Joni Mitchell started a movement of removing their music from Spotify as a statement of kind of, you cannot fill the world with this, with lies, and then expect us to share our music with you where you basically pay us nothing. As artists, we already don't get paid much, but then on top of that, then we're associated with a platform that doesn't support truth.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, that one, isn't it? Like, I'm really torn because I kind of feel like, as an emerging artist, I kind of feel like I need to be on Spotify. But I have no like passion for Spotify. I have no passion for promoting myself on Spotify. It's not the platform that I'm focusing on. But I feel like at the moment that I need a presence on there.
Yeah.
Just so that people can find me if they want to. Do you know what I mean? But I also feel like they're investing in weapons. Like, do I want to be part of that? But then I also feel like it's not my responsibility either. Like, it's not like there's nothing like me taking my music off there is not going to make any difference, is it? Because nobody knows who I am yet. So I can see why they're making that statement, and I respect it. There's another counter argument, which is about freedom of speech, and that people should be able to talk about what they want. But if they're going to do that, then they have to have it balanced on both sides, don't they?
Well, and that's the censorship, is that there's only one perspective being represented. I think when I because I was just recently in Canada, and so it's all over the Canadian news about Joni Mitchell and Neil Young being Canadian artists, and they're talking about they're fine because they have tens of millions of followers, so their followers will go with them, and they've had careers since the 60s, so their music won't be compromised, but they also have a lot of empathy for being able to connect with new musicians who do need to find a platform where they can be found. And so there's absolutely no judgment or criticism. It's just because all of that was coming up in the news, and then I was thinking, oh, I loved Joni Mitchell, and she was from not far from where I was from, and then that song came on, actually, weirdly enough, on Afterlife when I watched the Ricky Gervais new series.
Wow.
And that was on there. And I went, oh, I can't believe this just keeps coming up and coming up. And I agree with Hazel. I could hear you singing that. So just saying, that's my request.
Cool. Yeah. Noted. Noted. Yeah. I've actually got 2 requests now. I feel like once I get my 3rd request, if anyone out there has a request of a song that you would like me to sing for you that has a special meaning for you, I'm going to be singing a song for my friend Robbie, whose mum died of Alzheimer's, and he wants me to sing a song that was one of her favorite songs. So I'm going to be doing that one.
Beautiful.
So if I get a third request, then I think that's probably enough to start. And 3 songs from my first live stream for that particular show. I'm not going to reveal the name of that show yet, but it's going to be a regular weekly thing.
I love
And
that. I can't wait to share it. I can't wait to share it. There you go. The warrior is a child. Hazel's recommending. So yeah, but I think you know, the reason I said both sides now is because, you know, we were just talking about my son who's gone through a lot of mental health unwellness, let's say, because I don't want to diagnose anything at this point, but he's going through that disillusionment time at 20 years old of going from childhood to adulthood, and that both sides now for me just represents that so beautifully. So when you hear it, I'll be interested to hear what you think.
Cool. Yeah, I can't wait to hear it. And I think you know, it's important to talk about mental health as well, because I think a lot of people kind of feel it's taboo because they're afraid of it, you know.
Yeah.
It could be scary to think that, like, you're with someone who's got mental health problems, who might be a bit irrational, and they might do something, they might say something that's not right in the right circumstances. But I think we need to kind of destigmatize it and talk about it, because just as every one of us can have good physical health and we can suffer from illnesses and get poor physical health, it's exactly the same with mental health. We can have really good, really strong mental health, but something could happen and we could find our mental health slipping. It can happen to anyone, any one of us. So
and it will. At some point, something will happen, even if it's a short-term thing. Something will happen that'll throw you off what you expected life was going to be like.
Yeah.
It is so important. Frances Mary, I cannot wait until you share your new show, and when you're ready, when it's the right time for you, it will happen. If anybody, you know, wants to share either, you know, your song and a meaning, I would love that. Your stage name, or, you know, how you kind of name the different energies in you, share that. If you want to, if you've lost your way and you need to talk it through, or you need a reset, then this community is strong in people who can share various techniques. And I am always happy to jump onto a call. And that's not like a sales call, or that's just if you need to do that, then I'm here for it. And I'm in a really good place right now. I've just come through a dark place, and I'm in a really good place right now. So there's a lot of resilience there for anybody who needs to go through and talk about mental health. Thank you, Hazel, for sharing with us. It is so important to talk about mental health.
Thanks, Hazel.
Frances Mary, I could talk to you all day, but I'm not going to. I'm going to let you go. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you too. It's always a pleasure, Heather.
And we will meet in Bristol. It was supposed to be this week, but it will be soon.
Absolutely. I look forward to it. And yeah, thanks for anyone watching or who watches on the replay. And take care of yourselves.
Thank you, everyone. I'm Heather Jean. This is Frances Mary, and I am reminding you that it is your body, and it is your world, and it's your stage. Take up space.
Yay.
Enjoy it. Yes, it feels so good. Thank you, everyone. Bye for now.
Bye.